A nice start with still room to improve. Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium following the Bengals preseason opener here Saturday night, a 17-14 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But clearly the big story, the health and performance of Joe Burrow, the Bengals franchise quarterback here on Saturday night. A very effective 5 of 7 for 51 yards. He really checked all the boxes in terms of not only testing out that surgically repaired right wrist, of course, but getting the offense into a rhythm, and that's exactly what they were from the very first offensive snap of the game when Joe Burrow was under center at least, or at least in shotgun. Burrow very, very effective here on Saturday night, completing passes to T. Higgins, a quick hitch right off the line of scrimmage to get things underway, and then a pass for no gain to Chase Brown, and then Burrow really showed off his ability to read the defense, throwing a pinpoint pass right on the numbers on a deep post route to T. Higgins in the end zone in double coverage. It was right on the money, but the cornerback made a very nice play to knock the ball away in the end zone, breaking up what would have been about a 45-yard touchdown. On the very next play, it was over the middle to Andre Yosivas, and that was for a first down. Bengals got themselves into a 3rd and 17, got bailed out a little bit by a defensive pass interference call, but eventually the Bengals were able to punch the ball into the end zone, a 10-yard pass out in the left flat to T. Higgins. He made a cornerback miss, and then he shed a would-be tackler at the 2-yard line, and with his left hand extended the ball into the end zone and followed with his footsteps, and the Bengals led this one 7-0. Eventually there would be another touchdown in this game. That was a 37-yard thing of beauty from Logan Woodside, the third-string quarterback, down the left sideline to Jermaine Burton. He beat the defender and went into the end zone. Also on the final drive of the game for the Bengals, a drive that could have ended in a game-tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown, Burton also made a nice play along that same left sideline for a first down. So a couple of explosive plays for Jermaine Burton with the third team. Asked after the game, Zach Taylor said that the second team offense was in no rhythm at all. They weren't just worried about getting guys on the field like rookie Jermaine Burton. They were trying to get the offense with the guys that were on the field into some sort of rhythm, and at that point, that was Jake Browning. But after the game, let's get back to Joe Burrow. He said he had a very nice start to the preseason. This is what he wanted to do, come out and feel good, which he did, but there's still room to improve. It was a very low-key Joe Burrow after the game. There was no celebrating about throwing a pass in a game for the first time since last November when he got hit by Jadeveon Clowney in Baltimore on November 16th. There was no sense of that whatsoever. It was more an air of expectation. Joe Burrow expected to be in this preseason game. He expected to be throwing accurate passes, and that's what he did. So, again, Joe Burrow playing it very low-key in a news conference that lasted under 4 minutes. Zach Taylor didn't go particularly long at all either. He also pointed to some game management situations that he can work on for the regular season, both before halftime when Evan McPherson was wide right on a 58-yard field goal attempt, and also toward the end of the game. But in general, the Bengals come out of this game feeling very good about their franchise quarterback, and that was the biggest box to check of them all here on Saturday night. A 17-14 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Up next for the Bengals, they get back to practice on Monday after a day off on Sunday. They'll practice Monday and Tuesday, day off Wednesday. On Wednesday, that's travel day to Lake Forest, Illinois. Joint practice with the Chicago Bears on Thursday, and preseason game next Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern from Soldier Field in Chicago against the Bears. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next week in terms of players maybe moving up the roster, moving up the depth chart a little bit. Evan McPherson, as we said, missed that 58-yarder. In terms of other special teamers, Ryan Rico, the free agent punter out of BYU, boomed off a couple of 60-yard punts, but the second 60-yarder landed in the end zone for a touchback, so it was really only a net punt of about 40 yards. And then when we're talking about punters, Brad Robbins, of course, the would-be incumbent on the Bengals roster in terms of punting, he got off a very substandard 37-yard punt on his first punt of the night, but rebounded very nicely with a couple of 50-yarders and also boomed one 60 yards in this game. So it'll be interesting to see how the punting competition goes along. Another highlight in this game, rookie Josh Newton. He high-pointed a ball for an interception in the second quarter. Talked to him after the game, and he said the veterans on defense were very communicative with him, making him and Dejon Anthony, the safety that's very close and very tight with Josh Newton, feel comfortable on the field. He also said the energy of the fans really made him feel at home very quickly. It's interesting because Dax Hill was also a focus of tonight's game. He did allow one long pass, but when he saw Josh Newton pick off that pass in his first preseason game, he thought back to his rookie year of 2022 and that preseason opener against Arizona when he had an interception himself. Well, we'll have you completely covered on the X. You can follow me at Trags, Trags, CLNS Cincy with a Y.com online. And, of course, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. The final again, Tampa Bay 17 and the Bengals 14. Inside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.